Round 10 UniSC Arena here on the Sunshine Coast. Massive game and a big crowd in for it. The Sunshine Coast Lightning up against the Melbourne Vixens. Let's have a reminder of the Woolworths team cards. And for the Sunshine Coast Lightning, it's a shooting end and a mid-court we know so well. Courtney Bruce still not in that starting seven, but Ash Irvin having a brilliant season at goalkeeper.
Yeah, we see Conan and Fretwell in that goal circle with Watson, Maimai and Cassidy through the mid-court for the Sunshine Coast Lightning. And this young defensive end of Hinchcliffe and Ash Irvin are in the goalkeeper position.
And it'll be Maimai, though, that'll get us underway. Watson, there she is, up against her old club. Not straight away into the mix defensively, the Melbourne Vixens.
Two touches there to Shani Lambden in the first 5 seconds of the game, so she's definitely here to play tonight, the young Vixen.
Well, what a way to start and say thanks, Simone McInnes, for your faith in me. Austin, Garvin, Australian Diamonds teammates are the first ones to strike here. Well, that is going to be such a great matchup too. Last meeting, Ash Irvin, 9 gains and 7 deflections. Had plenty to say. Lambden, cross court, Mundy. Garvin, back to Mundy. Kira Austin, well, wasn't enough on it. Luckily, Joe Weston was there to clean up the crumbs for the Vixens. Sophie Garvin, how good was that footwork around in front of Irvin?
A non-negotiable there from Joe Weston, just being right there ready to pick up that ball as it came out of the shooting end of the Vixens.
There's the Harvey Norman replay, just not enough on that pass to Kira Austin. Conan crawling for the ball, gets herself around and in front. Won't miss many from there, Cara Conan. The hands of Hinchcliffe. Smart pass along the floorboards, off the ring. Who's going to clean it up? Well, again, it's the Melbourne Vixens, Kira. So they're there for all of those important pickups early.
Yeah, not switching off at all on the outside of the circle there. Kate Maloney was ready for the pickup, but it finds the hands of the Sunshine Coast Lightning.
Oh, a couple of balls that could have almost snowballed there for the Sunshine Coast Lightning. Fretwell, Conan. Back to the line, finds Cassidy, Watson, Fretwell. Well, that was patient until the very last pass and a bit too much on it to Cara Conan.
We heard Emily Mannix say that she enjoys playing against Cara Conan because she gets out and moving outside the circle, as we see the Lightning just get the win over there against Shani Lambden.
Fretwell doesn't like the distance, or maybe doesn't like the hand of Joe Weston.
The ball being pinged from side to side of the circle there, down both ends. Maybe just a little bit of a deep breath or a fake to put in there from the attackers just to bring the pace of this game down a bit.
Thank you, Maddie. Fretwell, the big step, the swing across the circle, drives, takes 2. Well, she ended up in the perfect position to set almost an accidental screen.
Big smile there from Emily Mannix. She knew she'd been sold the dummy there from Steph Fretwell.
Well, won't be the first time. That is Steph Fretwell's bread and butter, isn't it? Weston. Austin out of the circle. Well-weighted ball over the top, finds Sophie Garvin. He'll take her 3rd of the match. So just the one miss on court, Kira Austin. Conan. Long way out of the circle, on stretch.
Another touch there from Shani Lambden. She's in everything at the moment, the young wing defence.
So what is it? Is it the height they're just not used to yet? They're just trying to work out what she does, what she's good at?
Like Maddie said, they're just using the pocket there. Probably need to open up back to the top. Liz is getting stuck on the circle edge, not repositioning there.
There she is, Shani Lambden. Well, what an absolute cracking start to the game she's had. Debuted in 2022, previously a training partner with the Collingwood Magpies. Weston, Garvin out of the circle. Both shooters out. Well, Garvin tries to get back in pretty quickly. Little slip. Well, this is the beauty of this Melbourne Vixens attack line, is it's so well balanced. Both can move, happy to come out of the circle, happy to go back on a hold. Cara Conan often out of the circle. Fretwell, could have almost been a held ball. I mean, a replay, apologies.
Directly in front of me, step up goalkeeper. Yes.
Fretwell, 2 from 2. And really goal for goal here in this match. First versus fourth. And the Sunshine Coast Lightning would dearly love to get a win here at the moment. 3 teams breathing down their neck on that ladder.
Vixens will be happy with this start. They were a slow start at JCA in round 6. They were a 6-0 down to the Lightning, so they'll be happy that they're in this game from the first whistle.
Which is interesting because the Melbourne Vixens' first quarter is their best quarter. They've only lost one of them. But within that 15 minutes, slow to start it.
Certainly slow to get started, but really come home like a steam train. And as you said, Kath, they've got players all over the court doing the job in terms of feeding, centre pass receives, so the assists, and they are able to share the load, which makes them so hard to shut down.
Oh, like long ball. It was so long we didn't even have Sophie Garvin in shot. Oh, plenty of push and shove in there. Irvin on Sophie Garvin, one to keep your eye on. Both giving as good as they get here. The ball winds up. Kira Austin. Cassidy, Fretwell, My. Yep, just waits patiently for Fretwell to enter the circle. It was a 2-on-1 moments before that.
Outside, next to the wing defence. Yes.
Watson. Well, a couple of uncharacteristic fumbles coming from Cara Conan, or is it on the feed? But a few of them have not found their mark.
Yeah, just that body pressure from M. Mannix is really unsettling Cara Conan in terms of that take on the ball. And maybe you're right, Kath, just not placement on the pass for her, or not the eyesight between the two players to connect.
How lovely to hear M. Mannix in the pre-game talk about how lucky she thought she was to even be in the squad, even though she was as an invitee. I thought that was really humble.
Yeah, absolutely, and just enjoying her netball, and that's what's so important for these players, and not worrying about diamond selection, and that she's been recognised. She said, Stacey Marankovic said, you deserve this, and absolutely she does.
Fretwell, well, waits patiently for the dodge to come from Cara Conan. She knows that's her bread and butter, and sure enough, she delivers under the post. Cara Conan, the Lightning up by 1. Oh, how's that for a second phase?
Ball movement there from the Melbourne Vixens was on fire, just so clinical down court.
Well, you can't respond any sharper and any quicker than the Vixens just did then. My pulls it in.
Offside wing.
Well, have a look at the body. You talked at the start of the game about Jo Weston, how she'll be physical and she'll try and take Fretwell out of the game. She certainly is. Again, Cara Conan.
Just those bumps, as she's going to take the ball, just not got the stability to be able to pull it in. So something we'll keep an eye on there, Kat.
Fretwell, tiny little step back, doesn't really need a 4 from 4.
When you compare the amount of passes between the goals from both teams, we've got the Lightning that use the ball over and over, whereas we see the Vixens, they're just looking to get to goal as quick as they can.
It's really the depth from Mundy and also Austin there. They both can work on the second phase. Compared to the Lightning, they're really one-dimensional at the moment, going a lot through Watson.
Matt, it's an interesting game early though, isn't it? There's not a whole heap to talk about here. It's clinical netball down one end and then a reply almost straight away. Where do you think this will break open?
I think it'll come if there is a gain, it's that conversion. That's where it's going to be won or lost. So we see another great opportunity and a rebound there. This is a chance for the Vixens to go up.
Well, just keeping it in through the hands of Kira Austin, drives into the circle. Well, she almost jogged in. She had that much time. And there they go, the Melbourne Vixens taking the lead. And they'll have the centre pass to follow here, so they can get themselves up by a couple, a minute and a bit out of the first Power 5.
You can see the intentions of the Melbourne Vixens. They've come out physical and they want to really own their position in defence. And that's really starting to affect the Lightning in terms of their take on the ball.
Well, it will be interesting when we get to the Power 5, though. These sides not dissimilar in the number that they've taken and also the percentage, the conversion rate. Vixen sitting at 56%, Lightning at 55% for super shots. Wood. Oh, looked like she got a bit of a knock, and it's Jo Weston.
Yes, goal attack.
You can see Courtney Bruce in the back of play there behind the Lightning bench, up on her feet, plenty to say. Watson.
Plenty of talk down there from the Melbourne Vixens defence. They're up and about.
Back to one, the difference. And every shooter on court is contributing in this first quarter.
Shani Landon just does not look out of place out there, having not stepped on the court in the wing defence position for the Vixens. She has slotted in beautifully.
There it is, the siren, power 5 time. The next 5 minutes, everything in the white arc will be worth the 2. There she is, Shani Lambden. And she's on Liz Watson, no less. So the fact that she's even got a hand to one ball, impressive early. Conan will take another, will keep them close. Mundy. Sophie Garvin, long drive out, has to lift it up and over into the pocket. Well, a couple of high balls. Can't land that one, Sophie Garvin.
Just inside. Where you are now, goal defence.
Kira Austin didn't want to shoot it, but she's happy for Sophie Garvin to go the super shot. The first one to fall in this game.
Contact push centre.
Fretwell
Beside the
all the
centre,
way
centre
back to
beside.
Hinchliffe.
Marnie's got
Mama.
out of play, centre.
Watson. Conan again, got herself in that front space and held beautifully, but came off to take it in the back. To the difference.
Sunshine Coast Lightning don't look to be attempting to even set up for a super shot. So strategy-wise, as we see a nice turnover there and a pick up here from the Sunshine Coast Lightning, will we see them attack the 2-point shot on the game ball? Is that going to be the strategy this evening?
Well, it's a good way to do it, isn't it? Really put your foot down and get some space. Well, they're starting to find that back one over to Cara Conan. Pretty easy here. So just like that, the Sunshine Coast Lightning have an opportunity to level it up again. Fretwell.
Really good hands over there from Joe Weston. Just put Fretwell under pressure.
Conan happy to chip away. Smile on the face. 14 apiece. Oh, we wanted a big match and certainly delivering in the early stages. Way too easy, the double. We'll have a look at that. No intention of taking the ones. The Vixens really want to punish here. Sophie Garvin could have easily taken that one.
Absolutely. How confident and how good is Kira Austin playing? Doesn't even look like passing off.
No, she was in the Nissan Net Points Team of the Week, as was Sophie Garvin and Rudy Ellis last week.
Yeah, Kira Austin actually topped the Nissan Net Points last week for round 9 with 129.
Big numbers, and that is a big shot from Steph Fretwell. Had to step back to give herself a little bit of room on the shot. Made it even further away.
Better cover from Mai on that second phase to make Vixens have to work a little bit harder to post on this one.
Again, up and over the top. Sophie Garvin doesn't want it though. Really utilising this power 5 time. Kira Austin's been good, 1 from 1 early, misses. Garvin, the important rebound.
That's Kira Austin's first miss since round 8 on her super shot. She was 7 from 7 last week, so a little in here for the Sunshine Coast Lightning.
So she is human.
She is
Fabulous. Good to know. Steph Fretwell.
Obstruction goal defence.
Here's Lizzie Watson beautifully there for a quick 1-2 when she was off balance. They get their noses back in front. 1.5 minutes. And there's Lizzie Watson up against her old club, sitting pretty at the top of the Nissan Net Points powered by E-Power. Mai. Conan looking for the 2. Too much on it. 1 pass too many. Lambden. Maloney, Weston, long ball, Austin, Mundy. Well, it's gone through every set of hands here for the Melbourne Vixens.
Slicing through the defensive end are the Melbourne Vixens. They're really opening up holes. The Lightning will really want to lift their work rate if they want to create some more chaos in defence.
Their umpire, Kate Wright, explaining exactly where the penalty is. Maloney, Garvin. Austin, happy to take the one now. Keep them level with 20 seconds to go. Have they got enough time to score here? Surely, with the likes of a Sophie Garvin, you can go long.
Hands over pressure here from the Sunshine Coast Lightning, trying to slow it down, but it's finding its way down to Kira Austin.
Well, they crafted that beautifully, didn't they? The Melbourne Vixens, and with that, they'll get their noses just in front at the end of this first quarter here on the Sunshine Coast Lightning. As we head into the quarter time break, it's the Melbourne Vixens 18 to the Lightning 7. Cassidy, Watson. Back to Cassidy, My. Fretwell, Conan. My. Well, again, it's short and sharp, isn't it? We saw the Vixens doing that in that first quarter. No one trying to force anything, passing what's on, and then thinking about the next thing after that.
Yeah, adjusting their strategy. Cara Conan is the highest second phase receive player in the league. They've adjusted that. They've decided to work it down short and then go into Cara. So a slight strategical adjustment there from the attacking end of the Sunshine Coast Lightning.
And probably twofold, because so predictable as well. The more she's coming out of the circle. Mundy flying onto the circle with the big one-handed grab, Garvin. Oh, I feel like we're in for another second quarter similar to the first one. And again, look how quickly some of these transitions are happening down court. Second phases, well and truly thought about before the centre pass has even been taken. Conan creates some beautiful space.
There's really no high loopy passes being in. If it is a high ball, it's fast right into those shooters.
It certainly is. It's a tough game to play, though, for 60 minutes, isn't it? It's intense. Well, Courtney Bruce, welcome back. Penalty, back of the head, Sophie Garvin. She wouldn't have missed that, I'm sure. Won the difference. Mundy. Well, did well to get a hand on it, but was going that fast she couldn't stop herself from running into the goal third. Fretwell. Early days, our matchup of the game was Fretwell and Western. How have you seen that one play out after that first quarter?
Those two just going at it, hammer and tong. I've been really impressed by Steph Fretwell off the centre pass. Currently sitting on 5 centre pass receives. She's only 3 away from the record of 2,000 centre passes. So centre pass receives. So doing a wealth of work there, and Jo Weston will have her work cut out all night trying to keep her contained.
Well, as will these two. If you want physical on physical, it's Sophie Garvin and Courtney Bruce. Keep your eye on that battle. Aussie Diamonds, look, they're even going at it off the circle. Fretwell takes the easy option over the top to Cara Conan. Her first miss of the game and can't secure the rebound. So potentially an opportunity here for the Vixens just to get themselves in front again. Well, they're momentarily in that first quarter. Long ball, too long for Sophie Garvin, who's got the crumbs, hinge lift. The transition, blistering pace though.
We're starting to see the game open up here, and it'll be the team that can settle the quickest and can really make the most of their game ball, because there isn't going to be much of it tonight. So when they do gain, they need to really punish the opposition.
Just 2 gains to the Sunshine Coast Lightning, 4 to the Vixens. Fretwell, rock solid.
We see in the Harvey Norman replay there, Soph Garvin just falling out of the back of court. The physical pressure, whether or not Courtney Bruce even touched the ball, just the fact that she was there was enough to put Sophie Garvin off. And another touch from Courtney Bruce.
Courtney Bruce does not care if she goes through the body at this point. This is, I can just imagine it's like a jack-in-a-box just been released. She's been sitting on the sideline for so many weeks. We saw the 16, 17 minutes that she played last week. She was up on her toes, she was out and about. I think just loving being back out on court.
An absolute competitor we see on the Harvey Norman replay, just getting a touch to that ball and settling the feed as we see another ball go out the baseline for the Sunshine Coast Lightning. So a disconnect here. Will we see the introduction of Riley Batcheldor? Cara Conan hasn't had the best start to this second quarter.
Once again, both teams missing on that high feed. Let's go back to that short, sharp chip away. Get disciplined to circle edge, because that's where both teams have been so dominant.
Do you know what's been impressive is anytime there's been a fumble or anything, the pick-up speed from their opponents. That one just then, a classic example. Hinchcliffe on that ball so quickly.
Well, funnily enough, Kath, both are sitting on 88 for the season, so they're both barometers for both teams.
Fretwell, Conan. Well, how many times have we seen that domestically and internationally for the Australian Diamonds?
Captain Steph Fretwell was really happy with that attacking move. She gave the big two-handed clap to Cara Conan, so trying to really bring her teammate into the game.
Mundy got herself through a gap and into prime feeding location. Well, the miss from Kira Austin, just her second of the game, but how good to be able to pull that rebound in.
Second in the league, Kath, for offensive rebounds are the Melbourne Vixens, so if they miss, they're more than likely to pull the rebound in and punish you.
Most of them probably go to Sophie Garvin, though, to be fair. So interesting to see Kira Austin really attack that one.
Beautiful timing on the rebound, Kira Austin and Sophie Garvin.
Conan, well, it was misplaced, wasn't it? The wrong side of the body. The penalty still comes, fortunately, for the Lightning. But it was a great camera angle to pick up where that pass should have gone in relation to defender Emily Mannix. Look at this Harvey Norman replay there. You can see Mannix, that's the side of the body she was on. Austin, cross court, finds Maloney undefended. Now they try to force it through. 23 apiece. Hard to know which team's going to break this open.
Both teams really clinical with the ball in hand, only 5 general play turnovers to the Lightning and 4 to the Vixens, so really looking after the ball.
This change, though, Sophie Garvin under so much more pressure.
Yeah, Courtney Bruce has certainly brought it, and she's really making Sophie Garvin think twice about getting up and pulling in that loose ball. She had a lot of free rein in the first quarter.
The issue for the Lightning, though, as we see Jo Weston take one, looks like cleanly. Well, she had 2 hands on it. Look at Simone McInnes' face.
A little smirk there from Jo Weston, a little shocked. She looks at Kate Wright. She thought she was clean.
Well, when you're in front with 2 hands on the ball, it's hard to think anything else.
I think the commando army roll from Steph Fretwell just threw the umpire there.
Sometimes an Academy Award is necessary. Yeah, it was an army roll indeed, wasn't it? Long ball, Garvin. Well, this is the mix-up, and that's a smart move from the Melbourne Vixens. If Sophie Garvin is sitting back, well, interesting, maybe it was a little too hard of a contest from Steph Fretwell as she leaves the court.
Bachelor on a goal attack.
Fretwell has gone straight to the back of the bench. She's jumping on the bike, trying to keep warm, so she knows she might be back in this contest. Well, you mentioned, we talked about Bachelor a bit more regularly being introduced into the games, and a couple of minutes away from the Power 5, but this gives her a bit of time just to warm up before that.
Yeah, and something else for Jo Weston to think about. 187 centimetres is Riley Bachelor, so 12 centimetres taller than Steph Wood. So a change for Jo Weston. She's going to have to stick tight on Riley. Very clear in his explanations, umpire Justin Barnes down that end of the court. He's giving all the players the information on every call.
One, the difference. The Melbourne Vixens. Watson, Conan. Bachelor makes her way in, but there's that height difference as you see Jo Weston try to have a crack from behind the player.
That's it, right there.
Bachelor takes her first of the game. What can she produce in a minute and a half when we get to the Power 5? Weston looks long.
Better defensive structure there from the Sunshine Coast Lightning, forcing the Vixens to go wide, and found a way to goal through Kira Austin.
Well, how good was the take, though, to keep the ball alive through the captain, Kate Maloney?
Real lateral sideline to sideline ball. Unfamiliar that we see that from the Vixens. They're usually so crisp and short.
Certainly is the chaos style of defence that the Lightning try to create. They really rush the ball receiver and force their opposition to use the wings and the wide part of the court a lot.
Well, tried to get to Maimai at the top of the circle, but again, it's the captain, Kate Maloney, loves the fight for crumbs. Lambton, Austin, Garbutt.
Down the court in 4 passes without much trouble there, the Melbourne Vixens.
Well, they get their noses in front by 2. Centre pass to follow.
Coach McInnes yelling out, short, sharp, short, sharp. So watch them be disciplined on this one.
Well, it's what they were so good at, both sides, in that first quarter. It's very tempting to let those long ones go, though, when you see them, isn't it? Courtney Bruce from behind. Well, moments ago, Weston tried her hand at the same move.
The penalty there for Jo Weston, so she's got to find her way back down court.
Batcheldor undefended because of that particular penalty. Well, they can well use up 2 seconds here and find themselves in the Power 5. They do now. Who's going for it? Well, it's got to be Batcheldor.
Giving up the penalty there offensively, Cara Conan.
Well, both sides just keen to get on with it here, aren't they? They're not taking time to set up penalties. Weston waits for something. It comes through the middle. Kira Austin.
Beautiful
middle
drive.
channel again, Maloney. Mundy doing a wealth of work trying to get free. Bruce. Well, Courtney Bruce having such a crack at it, she's overrunning a little. And that opened up for the Melbourne Vixens. 3 the difference now. Well, almost right on cue. Belinda Reynolds wants an HCF tactical timeout to say, let's just stop that in its tracks before it gets any further away from us. And we'll get down and have a listen to her in a moment.
All right, well, the girls talk tactics. It's time for car sales tactical timeout. We need to see which phase is going to drive
Into that area, yes. Yep. And follow your shots and rebounds during tactical attack, yes. All right, here's defence. Let's be really tidy in our defence. So we still want to have a crack at those lateral balls. Yep. But in the front, just get around front, all the way around front, force it in the air, and the back one to the field. Alrighty. Let's contest the pocket balls that come around to the front. Yeah. And it'll be ball sides so they can't get their swings happening. Alright. Okay. Take a breath. Alright. Back to our basic fundamental netball. 2 strong options at every ball. Get your hips around. Let that ball go. If we miss it, we actively reset, go again. All right? We're attacking our score that we want. In defence, 7 defenders, all with pressure. I want you 2 to flood in the centre pass out. Lining on 2. 1, 2. Lining. Let's go.
Well, Kira, that was really interesting to hear Belinda Reynolds say we're attacking the score that we want. So maybe they've put a little goal in place per quarter.
We have heard Steph Fretwell talk about the 1.2 point netball that they're trying to get in each quarter. Whether or not it's a number or an amount of shots, I would lean towards a number of points that they want to score during the super shot. I think it'd be fair to say 6 or 7 would be good in the super shot period to score. So they've got 5 minutes here, really quantifiable time to be able to see out of the timeout how well they can bounce back.
Well, they've got their 2 long distance shooters on to do exactly that, and Batcheldor gets her first Suncorp super shot of the game. So every shooter on court at the moment has sunk at least one. How do the Melbourne Vixens respond to that? They're still up by the 1. Do they chip away? No, Kira Austin wants to respond and do it quickly, exactly like that. Kira Austin 2 from 3.
Giving me all the feels of the round 9 game last year where Kira Austin shot the super shot to break the hearts of the Sunshine Coast Lightning.
Well, if they keep this goal for goal action, that's exactly where it's headed, isn't it? Fretwell, the step back again. It's a monster shot. She sinks it. 2 from 2 super shots. Steph Fretwell still only 1 the difference.
So worthy of a top 4 game, isn't it, Kath? Both teams clinical with the ball.
Want a reminder, if you've just joined us, taken. Sophie Garvin plucks it safely out of the air as Kira Austin takes another. The only game the Melbourne Vixens have lost this season was to the Sunshine Coast Lightning back in round 6. It was the Lightning by 7.
We'd have to say the Vixens are certainly playing a much better brand of netball tonight here at UniSC Arena. They were certainly down on form in the round 6 game, so I think we're going to see a really close contest tonight.
They match up so well, though, don't they? These two sides. Fretwell, another. Where's the rebound? Bacheldor. Fretwell looked like she may have slipped there. They're going to play on, though. 3 the difference. Well, the Melbourne Vixens could really hurt the Lightning before this halftime break.
The first ball contest from Tara Hinchcliffe just isn't there tonight. She's really giving so much space to Kira Austin in attack, and she's carving them up.
Yeah, Sophie Garvin knows they don't have to force it at this point. Happy to take another one. Get them up by 4 because they have the centre pass to follow here, the Melbourne Vixens. 1:40 left in this half. Well, an easy one straight back with a breaking call against Kira Austin. They have to go at 2 here, the Sunshine Coast Lightning, if they want to stay close enough at the halftime break. Well, at this point, it could go through the hands of Fretwell or Bacheldor. Both have nailed one. Bacheldor, can she make it 2 from 2? Too much on it. Well, that's the issue with the long-distance shot, isn't it? Quite often there's no one there for the rebound.
Yeah, with Steph Wood sitting in there at only 175 centimetres against 2 at 189. We see on the Nissan net points Watson having an outstanding game for the team behind at the moment.
Well, she needs to, doesn't she? She's the only one in that top 5. 4 of the Melbourne Vixens, as they find themselves up by that magic number 4. Sophie Garvin makes it 5. 35 seconds left to play, so enough time to score here, but the Lightning would dearly love to make that a 2-pointer. Fretwell, well, she's already at distance. If she steps back, it's going to be even bigger. No, the pass off. Back to Fretwell. They're going to run out of time deciding who's going to shoot it. Steph Fretwell, 3 from 4, 75%.
Lightning will do well here just to hold out the Melbourne Vixens. But true to form, they find their way to goal. Great rejection there from Courtney Bruce. Fantastic. Can they get it down court?
Well, there it is, the end of the first half, and you can see both sides up and about here, high-fiving each other. Whilst it is 3 the difference, the Melbourne Vixens up. I think both sides will be happy with what they've put out in that opening half. Joe West and Em Mannix, still plenty to talk about, and they'll be able to do that shortly when they get to the change rooms. My. Watson. Steph Wood presents in front, doesn't want to shoot it though. Tries to set something up. Well, maybe too much playing around with the ball there. You talked about that at the halftime show, Kira.
Yeah, just that last pass into Steph Fretwell wasn't quite out of the reach of Joe Weston. And again, the Vixens on the outside of the circle, the non-negotiables, they pick up that loose ball as it comes out and tips to Kate Maloney there.
Yeah, there it is on the Harvey Norman replay. Did have a shooting opportunity about 2 or 3 passes prior to that moment. Weston looks long, always does, maybe too long. All right, we're going to get down to the head coach of the Sunshine Coast Lightning, Belinda Reynolds. Thanks for joining us. Down by 3 at the half-time. What was your message to your team in the change room?
Oh, now to start this quarter, get back to our 1-point netball. So we've kind of flipped that narrative, haven't we? So we've been so strong in 1-point netball before, and I think just going back and nailing our basics, were a bit erratic early in the game.
Belinda, we've heard you and also girls in the team speak about this number that you're trying to hit during the 1-point and 2-point time. Can you share with us a little bit about the strategy on that?
Yeah, it's just ticking over the scoreboard in that period and making sure that we get enough score on the board to put the other team under pressure. Unfortunately, we let Vixens score 9 points in that period, so I think it was more our defensive effort were a bit off.
Game ball is hard to get, Belinda. Have you got any strategies to put in place to try and gain a little bit back?
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking at stuff off of our direct opponent now, and obviously Ava's sitting here raring to go, so I think she can also look for some ball for us and enter this game.
One of our favourite things that we've heard come out of your mouth is the chaotic defence. We're looking forward to seeing if that gets some ball for you. Thanks for your time, Belinda.
Thanks, Kath. Bye.
Well, just like that, the Melbourne Vixens put the foot down here and they find themselves out by 6. The centre pass to follow. So Belinda Reynolds, you heard her say they wanted a good, strong start. That was the message at halftime. Hasn't happened.
Won't be happy there, Joe Weston, just not really finding the answer on that pass cross court. I want to mention Kath Shani Lambton. She did a great job in the turnover. She took the intercept, really created some confusion down there. So some issues for the Sunshine Coast Lightning. We know how strong this attacking end is, but they aren't flowing as nicely as they usually would like to be.
Well, the good news for them, though, they've just broken the Vixens' centre pass, so they'll have an opportunity here. And they score here, they can get it back to a much more respectable 4, the difference. Fretwell, Conan. Oh, we also heard Belinda Reynolds talking about we're going back to the 1-point netball. That's where we're good, that's where we're strong. This is the 10 minutes of regular time they get to do that. They've responded with those last couple, the last 10 there on your screen.
Nearly a hell ball there from Shani Lambton, just finding Sophie Garvin under the post unattended.
Well, if I had Sophie Garvin in the circle, I'd just piff it as well when I was in trouble. She's a pretty safe bet, isn't she?
Absolutely, great connection there from the Vixens down court.
My, both shooters out of the circle. Doesn't matter as long as one gets back in there, and it's Conan, the first to retreat.
Not looking comfortable at all, Cara Conan down that end of the court.
Well, she's under enormous pressure.
We heard,
It's about trying to rattle and push it.
We heard the assistant coach Jenny Brazel talk about the physicality that they're feeling, and it can be a perception because we look at the stats, they're sitting on almost identical penalties, but we know that the perception of a defender on your back can mean a lot more than just a penalty. It can be that physical pressure.
Well, while we're speaking of Jenny Brazel, 100 SSN games today, so a big congratulations to her.
Been with the Firebirds, Jenny Brazel, and now over with the Sunshine Coast Lightning. So a stalwart of the Queensland coaching arenas.
Smart enough not to leave Queensland, though, I see. Fretwell. Oh.
Why would you, Kath? It's beautiful.
No, I hear you. I've been here all day enjoying it. For the difference, that long ball has whilst both sides have been trying to keep it short and sharp, that long ball has been there quite often for the Melbourne Vixens, hasn't it? Down the same side of the court and flat, so it's safe.
And it's really opening up the Vixens being able to get through that as we see a break, disappointingly there, Coach Killer. She's got words to say for it. Well, she's not happy, but it's really opening up the Lightning defensive unit. They like to be able to push wide, and when they have that long ball, the Vixens, it just puts all the defensive work to bed there. They can't set up early enough.
Through the middle, Sophie Garvin, strong. The pass was flat. It was hard. Now they find a bit more lift on it to get over the hand of Courtney Bruce, who's still got a smile on her face.
Maybe we'll see a change of strategy here defensively from the Lightning. They may need to go back to a one-on-one, really try and close down the usages of some good plays. A great touch there from Liz Watson. Now it's about using this game ball, currently sitting on 25%, the Sunshine Coast Lightning, so just need to reward the defenders with this conversion.
Yeah, they're winning the ball back, aren't they? It's just, as you say, the ability to score from it, 25% low. Steph Fretwell, though, trying to up that percentage, and it all comes through. Lizzie Watson there on your Harvey Norman replay. Fretwell strong on the take. Well, this is a big opportunity with Joe Weston penalised a long way from the circle.
Love to see Cara Conan post up earlier on in that piece, but she finds a way to goal and it's closer, so good on her.
I know, it's a hard one, isn't it? Because I would agree with you, but then she does go and have the extra pass and gets there. I mean, it's not really a percentage game when you think about.
But as a shooter, Kath, when you post up, do you feel like you get the defender off your back and you're able to, double play yourself, not with that physical pressure?
Well, you create some space, sure. They've got to get back that 3 feet distance, give you something to work with. Fretwell. My, probably forced it through. Lambden was there and had the long arms. There she is again in the middle of the court. What a ball. Straight to the top of the circle. Kate Maloney likes it. Points straight down to Shani Lambden. Well, it'll be another HCF tactical timeout. And the reasons it's called for the Sunshine Coast Lightning is that the Vixens have got themselves out by 6 again. They're winning this third quarter 7-10.
Back out there, we're looking after our direct opponent, right? So your job on your direct opponent, beat that individual battle, alrighty? So win the dead ball time, force them high, like Tazi said, hands pressure, dictating off circling. Ash playing front, ready to go, lots of high hands. We're going to get around in front in the circle to force it in the air so we can win some ball here. Let's get it. Guys, not there on the first second, look elsewhere. And we have to have multiple options, all right? Let's go.
Well, Kira Trump, it's almost like you know what you're talking about. You said, I'd like to see a change-up in defence. Maybe they need to head back to one-on-one defence, and it's exactly what Belinda Reynolds has just asked them to do. So keep your eye on the Sunshine Coast Lightning defensively now. Every player should be on their direct opponent and wearing them like a glove. Ash Irvin is back into the contest. Courtney Bruce has gone to the bench.
She seems frustrated over there, Kath, on the bench, talking with the medical team, pointing to the timer, almost looking a bit disappointed that she's been taken off.
Well, she probably knows exactly how many minutes she's allowed to play.
Sneak a couple of extra in there, but the medical team, they're really looking after her return to court, thinking of internationals coming up.
Maddie, what was Simone McInnes saying in the Vixens huddle?
Well, she was pretty happy with the way that they've been using the ball, but she said, let's continue to use some balks. She said, looking over that mess of their zone has been really good, but let's not get complacent. Let's continue to work short and add in those fakes as well.
Well, they're not going to be able to look over the zone because it is no longer there. Belinda Reynolds has scrapped it. So we'll keep an eye on both of those points for both of these sides and see who's going to come out on top as Fretwell takes another. 13 from 16, 80% in regular time for Fretwell. Austin to Garvin.
Still able to beat that one-on-one was Kira Austin. She front cut and just had an air ball there, but lucky they were able to offensively pick that rebound up, Soph Garvin.
Well, we may have missed a little tip on the hand or something because she automatically looked at the umpire.
Another break there from the Sunshine Coast Lightning. My stats serve me correctly, they are the highest breaking team in the league, so not uncommon for the Lightning players to lose the ball that way.
Maddie, that is a basic skill though. Surely if you're pulled for that more often than not, you stand further away from the line. That's a quick fix, surely.
They're trying to anticipate the umpire blowing the whistle. So as you said, step back, just take a little bit of heat. If the Vixens then jump the line, you might get the ball advanced a little bit further down your attack end. So yeah, a basic coach killer, that's something you're getting it every second time. You shouldn't be giving it away like that.
Absolutely not. We can see the missing their points there. Lizzie Watson still sitting at the top, doing a load of work for her side. Back of play there, you can see Ava Black standing on the sideline. Have a look at these bursts of three for the Melbourne Vixens. That's exactly why they find themselves up by 8 in this third quarter.
We see the introduction of Ava Black. Belinda Reynolds talked about great hands over there from Ash Irvin. She was able to get that touch. And the Lightning first to the pickup, which is a real plus to them. Just turning it over there.
Oh, Liz Watson though, I mean, who else would it be at this point? She's carrying the load for this Lightning side. Short, sharp, off the back of that, they reward Liz Watson.
She wanted that ball more than Shani Lambden in that particular play. She just pulled it in strong and got on with it.
Back to 7, Conan. Well, she gets the penalty. We'll let Steph Fretwell take it. Protects the shot to a degree. Tries to get herself in between
We
Go Western.
haven't really noticed the crowd, have we, Kath, in the last quarter? So this is a chance for them to really get involved in this match as the Sunshine Coast Lightning get closer on the scoreboard.
Absolutely, it is a sellout crowd here. They know what a massive game this is in the scheme of their team season. At the moment, sitting in fourth, but they have the Giants, the Mavericks, and the Swifts all one win behind them. So they've got to get some breathing room.
The difference at the moment is just the Vixens are putting so much pressure on every single pass of the Sunshine Coast Lightning, and on the other hand, the Vixens are able to transition down court with absolute ease. So building pressure upon the Melbourne Vixens is outstanding in this quarter.
Bacheldor back in the game too.
Bacheldor for two, that's why she's out there. She sinks that one coming off the bench.
Into the third power 5 of this game. Bacheldor 2 from 3 from distance. Back to 5. Well, a turnover here. Who can this come from? Ash Irvin, last time they met, was brilliant. Can she get those long arms and that height into this game? Well, she's had an impact. Look at her slap the hands together. Listen to the crowd come alive.
Lisa Maimai is exhausted. She is literally running on empty at the moment, pointing to other players. So we see her the ball there, just hit her in the face. Fatigue really starting to get into her legs.
So what change would you pull here, Kira?
Well,
because where do you get that fresh spark?
I think they need to potentially move Cassidy into the wing, into the centre. I know she's not as probably, flary in that attacking end, but as we saw another turnover there from the Lightning, she's very strong in defence, and we know that Belinda Reynolds is looking to shut down the Vixens, and I think defensively, Mahalia Cassidy can offer that down this end of the court.
Spot on about Maimai though. She's up against one of the fittest and toughest competitors in the competition, Kate Maloney. She will not back down. Mundy, well, you can see her sucking in the big ones as well. This game has been at a frantic pace since the first whistle. The Vixens have won every quarter, find themselves up by 3 in this third.
Just missing that second option here, the Sunshine Coast Lightning, and it really is coming down to that centre position, just not able to penetrate to the top of the circle, just sitting and waiting for the ball.
Wood, got to shoot it up. Waiting for another option, this time Bacheldor in exactly the same position. It's short. Oh, Steph Bretwell snuck in there for the rebound under the post.
Bretwell also looks quite exhausted. She's doing a mountain of work trying to be free out the front, but Weston is just wearing her like that backpack.
Well, we spoke about that in the pre-game, didn't we? That was going to be Joe Weston's whole and sole focus, is just to wear Steph Bretwell down.
Again, the Vixens in front on this non-negotiable stuff. They're always there for the pickup. You know, we know how strong Simone McInnes is about the rules, getting on that reset, setting up on the outside of the circle, and they're really getting all of those easy pickups when the ball's tipped.
Irvin again, well, she's come on and had immediate impact. We know she's having a great season, but it's also just the difference in player that it takes sometimes your opponents a while to adjust to. Massive, strong rebound there from Sophie Garvin.
One area of the stats where the Vixens are leading at the moment are the rebounds. So we see Ash Irvin contesting the ball there, but just again, a Vixen was the first one to the pickup.
As your rebounds, Vixens 8 to the Lightning's 3. Fretwell, Bacheldor still on. They've got under a minute here of power 5 time. Dearly love it too. The Vixens chewing up the time. Both in the same position. Fretwell sinks another one. 4 from 5. Suncorp super shots to Steph Fretwell.
They're fighting back here, the Sunshine Coast Lightning, and it'll be this defensive stop they'll be looking for. The Vixens wanting to be clinical, and they are to post to Kira Austin.
It was all too easy though, wasn't it, to Kira Austin to take that one. And with that, she'll take them out by 5. Is there enough time left on the clock though? Bacheldor, shoot it up, 12 seconds. Second bite at it, she sinks it, Riley Bacheldor.
Now the challenge for the Lightning is to hold out now.
2 seconds remaining, 3 the difference. Kate Maloney smart enough to hang on to that centre pass, so they'll keep it when they come back out onto the court for the 4th and final quarter. Well, the Lightning are not dead yet.
Well, the Vixens were pretty happy with how they finished. They've been really, really frugal with the ball, but Coach Di Honey was saying they want to force you wide, so maybe don't start middle, then be forced wide. Maybe start wide to then try and work it into the middle and start to work some angles and a few more screens down that attack end for the Vixens.
Makes sense. Leave the space available that you want to run into. There's the coaching staff of the Melbourne Vixens. Simone McInnes, former Australian Diamond, on the left, and the head coach, and Di Honey next to her. Conan out of the circle. Liz Watson, a trip. Let's talk about Lizzie Watson's numbers because they're pretty huge most weeks, sitting at 32 feeds already, still a quarter to play. Mannix the hand in. Maddie, I'm coming back to you. This point, down by 4, who wins this game?
Well, I'm going to still stick with me saying Vixens by 6. So I'm sitting in a good hot seat at the moment. I think it will come to a really clutch moment, and I think the Vixens' experience in owning them will stand true.
Agree with that, Kira?
Obstruction goalkeeper.
As this game goes on and on, Kath, I'm starting to think just the fatigue factor of the Sunshine Coast Lightning may see some silly mistakes, although being a home game, you never know, this crowd can really be that 8th player that gets them over the line.
Well, what does continue to happen, though, the Melbourne Vixens picking up those crumbs, the 1%ers not losing possession, and Simone McInnes likes it. Enough to crack a smile. Garvin, Maloney to Austin. And an easy one over the top back to Sophie Garvin, who'll take her 32nd of the game, sitting at 91%.
Great hands again there from Kira Austin. And again, the Vixens are the first to the pickup. They're on the transverse line, awaiting any deflection.
It's that 0 phase time where you're going from attack to defence. The Vixens just don't even switch off.
That's the difference, Maddie. You can see the Lightning taking a breather, chatting to each other, and they're not switched on when the ball isn't in their quarter play.
That is championship team behaviour, isn't it? The Melbourne Vixens sitting at the top of the table. They continue this sort of form. Again, a break. This time, though, it's the Melbourne Vixens through Hannah Mundy. So is this the opportunity that the Lightning needed? Fretwell. The front drive is good. The lean from Joe Weston is good too, though. Fretwell gets one back, 6 the difference. The centre pass to follow.
You see Batcheldor in the background with the goal shooter bib on, just waiting by the coach, Belinda Reynolds, to pull the trigger on that change.
Well, that would be the earliest that we have seen it, which is really interesting, unless there's going to be a bit of a shuffle position lead. Conan, again, it's the tip from Mannix. There she is, Riley Batcheldor.
Continuing to force that feed in, aren't they, the Sunshine Coast Lightning? And maybe that's what Belinda Reynolds is looking for with Riley Batcheldor, a bit more movement.
I think they could also, the mid-quarters, use more of a triangle. When they get it in the pocket, don't force that baseline feed. Swing it to the top and give an easy one in the dark.
Yeah, the angle's really making it easy for Emily Mannix to read.
Well, the crowd absolutely love that contest, and particularly because the Lightning ended up with the ball. Have a look at the pushing off the body between Fretwell and Weston. Joe Weston almost fended Fretwell out of the way there, and that has been going on this entire contest.
Who would have thought they're friends off court? They're just out there giving it to each other at the moment.
How good is that to see, though? Well, Austin, smart pass via the floorboards. Takes the height out of the contest. A much-needed rebound.
Right, here's the challenge right now for the Sunshine Coast Lightning to be able to reward this work from the defenders.
Well and truly beaten on rebounds in this game, the Sunshine Coast Lightning. A timely one.
Mai just stuck on the outside of the circle.
There she is with the ball in hand now, and they've had to go a little lob to Batcheldor, the shortest in the circle. She sinks it though. Here come the Sunshine Coast Lightning again. Well, they rallied for the second half of that third quarter. Have they got another fight back in them? Only 4 the difference. plenty of time up their sleeve too. Fretwell working overtime to protect space. All right, let's have another look at that one. You can see the work and the grimace on the face as she tried to keep M. Mannix out of the contest. Get there in a minute. There's the last 10, and it's the fight back. The response from the Sunshine Coast Lightning, 4 in a row.
The introduction of Riley Batcheldor has brought a new life to the Sunshine Coast Lightning. They're really pushing here.
Have a look at this, pushing through, trying to stop and just protect a little bit of space there. M. Mannix straight up the back of Fretwell. Batcheldor, well, when that becomes the last 5 minutes, you know she'll shoot those initial ones. Now, though, working it a little closer, 3, the difference.
Ava Black doing a great job on Hannah Mundy, but she's able to get across court, full side there on the drive to the top of the circle.
Construction. Side the wing defense.
Irvin gets the tip. Doesn't go the way of Sophie Garvin like she thought it was going to. Huge opportunity for the home side. Conversion is key.
Contact goal shooter.
There's the Harvey Norman replay, and it was the timing of the jump from Ash Irvin. She's been good since introduced in the game again.
Good ball speed here from the Sunshine Coast Lightning, just getting in front. Again, Shani Lambton. We're going to have a shot here with a warning to Shani Lambton from umpire Kate Wright.
You wonder if this game keeps going shot for shot, how the fatigue of these contests in the last couple of minutes when a 2-point shot might need to occur, are the shooters going to have it in it?
Well, maybe that's exactly what the coaches are thinking at this point, Maddie Brown, because there is an HCF tactical timeout. Simone McInnes, maybe knowing the battle they're heading into this last 8 minutes, wants to give them a break and something to think about. Let's have a listen.
Discipline. Remember what your role is in your job. Right? Your game, what's your anchor? Okay? Let's be prepared to work the ball down there. Low, short and sharp. We can't just throw it up if we're not using the ball. Get off the body there, Hannah. Get off the body, early prep. Short and sharp, work it to circle leg. Go. Our game. Stay connected. Our game. Right, let's go.
Simone said it. Our game, we're in control. But it's not going to happen. We've got to do the work off the ball. Lose our opponents, not run side, up and down, short and sharp. Yeah. Consistency, stay in control. Hey, we finished this game off. Let's go. Vix on 3. 1, 2, 3, Vix.
Well, 2 very calming voices. First from Simone McInnes and then Kate Maloney. And we've seen Kate Maloney get in there and fire up, but she's very calm in her instruction at this point. Wants to just make sure everybody's heading out this last 8.5 minutes, focused on what the job is.
Yeah, really measured Kate Maloney has been in season 2024. She said it's our game, let's keep it in our control, and stay connected.
Ladies, you'll see that Mahalia Cassidy has moved into the centre to inject some maybe fresh legs to run out, and even Belinda Reynolds talked to her attackers. Let's use our balks and treasure every possession we get.
Well, it was the change that Kira Tromp was calling for earlier. Finally here, though. Well, they're going to need it, aren't they? Any sort of fresh legs when you're looking down the barrel of this sort of margin of a game in what's already been a full throttle encounter. One, the difference. The Lightning taking control of this fourth quarter. They're winning it by 2. There's your score breakdown. Having lost the first 2 quarters, they've stayed with the Vixens in the final 2. Mundy strong. Austin slips in front. Look at the lean from both players over the shot. Kira Austin, 18 from 22, 82% regular time.
Another contact on the outside of the circle for Shani Lambton. Mahalia Cassidy brings a bit more defensive prowess. She takes a big deep breath there.
Well, she also nearly missed a very obvious speed It will take her a while to adjust. It's a very different position. Liz Watson, though, still sitting at the top of the Nissan net points, 120.
Contact goalkeeper.
Liz Watson, 38 feeds, not a single turnover. Unbelievable. Given what a pressure cooker this game is and how physical it's been, that is beyond impressive.
It's what I call beast mode, Kath. Liz Watson is currently holding the Lightning together, but a turnover there from the Sunshine Coast Lightning. She finds herself in defence.
We know one thing, she will not give up. One of the Australian Diamond squad members, there are 10 of them on court, can you believe it, in these two sides. Star-studded teams, the Vixens and the Lightning. Garvin, Austin, swings all the way over to the captain, Maloney. Well, now the Sunshine Coast Lightning are where they need to be, contesting all those balls.
Is this the moment that Maddie was talking about, this moment where the team that gets that clutch goal to really seal it?
Irvin. She's got Garvin in her sights, in front.
You can feel it building in the stadium.
Well, it's certainly taking them a while longer. Irvin gets a hand to it. Henschel picks up the scraps. Well, now what? Liz Watson, she'll do a lot of this playmaking on the way down. Keep control. Bacheldor, Cassidy. The experienced head. Well, Bacheldor is standing up. She's under enormous pressure, as was Fretwell from Joe Weston.
The difference for mine is Riley Bacheldor is up really strong. Her body looks strong. Cara Coleman seems to be almost bending over in the contest. So Riley Bacheldor doing a great job.
Won the difference and a turnover. Listen to the crowd. You can see some of them on their feet in the background, right on the siren to the last Power 5.
You can feel the momentum has swung towards the Lightning.
Well, they score here. It's either back to level or in front by 1. They have the centre pass to follow, Kira, so they can well and truly take control here. Bacheldor, too much on it. Wood can't pull it in. Fretwell can't pull it in.
Smart here by Emily Mannix to just take a breather, come up to the line, reset to connect with the Vixens.
Absolutely needing some cool heads here, the Melbourne Vixens.
We heard Coach McInnes say, stay connected, and they're being challenged here by the Sunshine Coast Lightning.
They are in the driver's seat, up by 1. Need to keep that scoreboard pressure though, Irvin. Well, she's gone to another stratosphere in this final quarter.
Vixens continue to put that high pass in. I'd love to see that pop back to come forward from Garvin, just to change it up and bring it a little bit lower.
Ash Irvin, 3 games, 7 deflections. 3 of those coming in this last quarter. So you're spot on, Maddie.
Frustration on the face of Captain Fretwell, just feeling like that ball was knocked out of her hands. That's the physical pressure of the Vixens.
Well, those are the moments too, aren't they, that you really want to convert and damage and put the game. Well, you can see the frustration on everybody's faces here. Fretwell again. Black, not quite there. Mundy has been rock solid for the Melbourne Vixens. 2 the difference. Well, they can get a bit of breathing room again here, the Melbourne Vixens, with the centre pass to follow. Moments ago, it did not look like that was going to be the case. This second half is level.
All 7 players from the Sunshine Coast Lightning will be looking here to have impact. Likewise, the Vixens want to be clinical and work the ball down to circle edge.
Constructing the attack, centre third. Yes.
2.5 minutes to play. Have the Melbourne Vixens done enough to control this game? Well, that gives them a 4-goal buffer. The pressure now on the Sunshine Coast Lightning. They're going to have to go the super shots. first they've got to find themselves in that wide arc. Fretwell sets up the screen. Smart. Got to sink it. Well, she doesn't, but the rebound, importantly, goes to Bacheldor. Fretwell, another opportunity, sinks it. Look at the bench on their feet.
Looking for a turnover here will be the Sunshine Coast Lightning.
To the difference. Well, who's going to get it for them? Ash Irvin has been brilliant. Will it be her again? Austin can really put it out of reach. It's through the hands of Hinchliffe. They can't gather it again. The Vixens pick up those important scraps. Well, that could be the match winner right there. Oh, it's a replay ball, Sophie Garvin. Plenty of time here for the Sunshine Coast Lightning. Got to keep possession, got to keep cool heads. To the difference.
You want the ball in the hands of your most experienced players at this point in the match. So Steph Fretwell, Liz Watson.
Well, they can't get free though. Have a look at Liz Watson. Now on great mate and former co-captain, Kate Maloney. Well, haven't those two been in battle so many times at training sessions? Would know each other inside and out. Bacheldor, who's going to take the shot? That was an extremely fast 3 seconds. It felt. Opportunity gone begging for the Lightning. Fretwell. Well, now they've got to do the hard work all over again, the Sunshine Coast Lightning.
Running at every ball receiver here, the Sunshine Coast Lightning trying to create something.
Well, the Vixens will chew up as much time as they possibly can here. Not in a hurry to take this penalty, 7 seconds. Well, what a contest, that'll have to be the ball game. To the difference. Well, the Melbourne Vixens not letting the home side strike on the Sunshine Coast tonight. They'll take the win and secure that all-important top of the table status for yet another week. But wow, they were tested.
Absolutely, the Lightning came hard at them at the end there, Kath, and they were able to create so much ball, and I think Belinda Reynolds will want to go back to the drawing board and see why that couldn't happen earlier in the game tonight.